All right, all right. We're back on another episode of Salient Points. This one's Salient Points number 61 for March 22nd, 2022. I'm Carlos Macias, the Master of Ceremonies here. And we have, as per sometimes used, Dalen Kirkwood. Thank you for joining us, sir, from up in the mountains.
Hey man, I'm not sure what that means. I'm confused by your statement.
It can mean
He's
whatever.
he's there more regularly than the other two.
That's
so,
true.
than
That's
and
true.
So
We did talk about his percentage going from like 96 to like he's like at 97.3 now. Every time he shows up, it slightly moves up, right? Yeah, thank
Hey
you.
man, I need my days off.
And also Deo Blas, thank you for joining us, sir. We hope you enjoyed your week off last week. You had some fun,
busy.
Yeah, you've been busy. I don't know.
Busy.
Do you want to tell the audience what's been going on with you a little bit? Not that
Not-
you have
not
to.
yet.
Okay. We'll let you
Not
kind of
100%.
All right, we'll let you announce it then next time or whatever, whenever you're ready. No pressure. So mainly Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel isn't on the podcast this week. So what that means is the inmates get to run the asylum. I feel maybe he lets
I
lets,
think you misinterpret what that means, Carlos. This is primarily your podcast when you're gone. That's when
that's when okay, reasonable, very reasonable.
You are the warden of this whole situation.
What did I call it? The Master of Ceremonies or whatever it's called.
But Master of Arms.
Master of Arms. All right, so there wasn't nothing too popping off this past week. Well, besides the fact that Gran Turismo is kind of getting into a little bit of a mess, right? There's a couple things. The game was offline for a little while. I think it was for a full day. And Deo, I hope you can help me with the details in a little bit here. So it did go offline for a bit, and it's from what I understand, it's really a lot of it is an online game. You have to be online while you're playing it, but you can play like the arcade mode. I guess if it's one of the options that you get. And there's also like they've been having issues with their microtransactions, and where people are kind of complaining that it's all whack and it's all messed up. And what did they do? They updated to some of these race winnings. Actually, it actually you have to grind more, right? So Dale, I'm gonna kick it off to you, man. What's going on with Gran Turismo 7 here, man?
Gran Turismo was offline for 30 hours, and that was in the middle of the time that when people were trying to grind to get these. There's these couple of cars that dropped in the auction house, which were worth $2.8 million. And so people were grinding away trying to get that, and they couldn't because the servers were offline for 30 hours. And it's really odd because a lot of PlayStation, like their AAA studio titles, they don't require an online component at all to play. So you could totally play them offline normally, but Gran Turismo requires that online.
Do you think maybe it's Polyphony is like, look, we are, what is it called? Help me with the phrase, Dalen. They drum to their own beat, or they beat to their own drum, or whatever. Maybe Polyphony Studio is like, we do what we want, Sony, and this is what we want. Do you feel like maybe that's what it is, or?
They could be. I don't know. I really don't understand why it needs to be like that, because Forza Horizon, which is persistently online sometimes, has an offline component too. It doesn't necessarily have to be online like Gran Turismo is. It was really bad. Like, and then when not only that, if you tried to boot up the game while you were offline, it didn't let you really do anything, with the exception of 3 what they call music rally races. It's not even the full arcade mode where you could choose a track and your own car. They just put you on a pre-installed track, and with like this music that just constantly loops because you're trying to get better times for it.
Okay.
And with a set car, it's not even like cars you could use or own.
It's not the way this thing is meant to be played, right? You're not really. You wouldn't choose this.
This way.
If you could fully play online, you would not choose to play this mode, or this version of it necessarily.
No. It's kind of it was really lame. That movie.
And do they do timed events? Is that what it is? Like you have to hit some of like there's a timed events
for the online multiplayer. Yeah, there's timed events. So they run certain races and you have to qualify for them. But like I don't think that many people are on the online multiplayer side right now, because there's a lot of like beginning sim racers that bought into Gran Turismo 7 for this. And I know a lot of them are upset because they paid like $70-$80 for this game and they can't even play it, which was, well, at the time anyway. You can play it now because they resolved the issues, but at the time people were pissed, man.
Oh, it's understandably so, man. I mean, it really sucks when games do this. I know Elden Ring sort of does a version of this where it's like it kind of expects you to be online, but for the most part, you can play it in single player. But it really is terrible though to think that it's like because this game you mainly play single player against the computer trying to make these laps, or you do play multiplayer like head to head multiplayer.
I'm more like 70% single player campaign and then 30% multiplayer because the reason being is that like the multiplayer rewards aren't as much as you could get through like single player grinding. It takes too much time. So like and it's fun to play online and it's fun to race against people and to get your rank up and everything. But I mainly enjoy the single player campaign, which the Gran Turismo 7 one is really good. It's been a long time since we've had a campaign like this. So I'm really happy to report that. And the gameplay is great. The problem is just like the microtransactions, the economy of the game, the servers being down.
So how
like,
is it?
I have little
that
quibbles
sounds
about
pretty
it.
terrible.
I know I might be nitpicking some other things too. But overall, like playing the game is actually really fun.
Yeah.
But like
It
I have
just seems like
issues.
this was like just a singular instance that's happened with all the fun that the game is.
Yeah, I hope so because like when they released Gran Turismo 6 and Gran Turismo Sport, all their updates like 2 years afterwards were free, and there were significant updates for like track lists and cars, and they had more significant payouts compared to what they are now. I think someone posted online that Gran Turismo 7 in its current state is the stingiest Gran Turismo when it comes to payouts. And it got
but
worse
it has
because
been.
like
But it
And
has
it looks
been
like you're
before.
shoving
Sports
them
is
towards
pretty cheap too.
microtransactions.
Sports is pretty cheap too.
Yeah,
So why
it's
wouldn't you
not
go
that
play
forgiving.
sports first if you haven't had a chance to?
Wait,
Well, so
sports.
sports, yes.
Explain,
The
please.
GT
Well,
Sports
I
is
say it.
different.
No, I say it because right now Gran Turismo 7 is still $60 or $70, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So you could always just go buy sports, play it, and wait for them to
Is it
fix
is it sports?
That's true.
Is
I
it
mean,
sport or sports plural? I guess is my question.
sport.
Yeah, sport.
Sports.
But why would
There's
you play
one
an old
sport
game? No, but why would you want to play the old game, Dalen? I mean, this thing came out, dude. This
because
thing
it's
is
still good.
yeah, but
Because it's still
that's
good.
yeah, but that's fair. But you don't go. This just came out.
See,
This just
No,
came
I
but
out.
understand.
this is another problem I have with Gran Turismo, this series as a whole too, is that like even if you have hours in Gran Turismo Sport or Gran Turismo 6 or 5, which is like all the Gran Turismos in the online era of consoles, like there's no like reward for playing all those older games that transfers to like the newest game. If I play Forza Motorsport 3 or Forza Horizon 2, I could get in-game credits just for playing those games and logging into the game for the newest Forza Horizon and the newest Forza Motorsport. Like
Yeah.
they just already encourage you and give you bonuses based on playing the
So how did
Remember,
the
is
so
Forza an Ubisoft game?
Dalen? That's a
No,
Microsoft.
Forza's
It
no
comes with your Game
Microsoft
Pass.
Microsoft games.
Comes with your Game Pass, Dalen. Day
Hey,
one.
just because it
Day
comes with
one.
Game Pass doesn't mean Ubisoft
Well,
didn't
it's
make it. But yeah, I
Microsoft. It
understand.
is Microsoft, Dalen. It's Microsoft.
Ubisoft makes The Crew and some other games,
Yeah.
but
Oh, it was The
So
Crew.
Dale,
I knew they made a racing
so
game. Yeah.
Dale, as far as like the microtransactions, they how did they screw them up? They were set a certain way, but from what I understand, they actually screwed it up worse. Like they updated it to make it worse. What's like the main thing that like how they screwed it, or it's been screwed up from the beginning? They didn't really do it.
it's been screwed up since Gran Turismo Sport. I complained about them back when Gran Turismo Sport came out in 2017.
Yeah.
Because they're a way to pay to win kind of thing, and or to pay to not grind. So it looks like because they lowered the payouts for everything, it looks more favorable in order to gain an advantage to just like spend real life cash in order to get credits to buy the higher performing cars in a certain class or whatever. And that's what happened in Gran Turismo Sport. They didn't address that in Gran Turismo 7.
They're like
And it
whatever.
Did you
doesn't
say
work.
pay to not grind though?
Yeah, it saves you a lot of time.
A lot of games do
Because-
that though. A lot of games.
Yeah,
do
I was
that,
just
though.
thinking, isn't
Yeah.
that pay to win?
Yeah, well, yes and no. 'Cause
For Gran Turismo,
like-
that's a pay to win. Because
It's
then you
pay
got
to
all
win.
these people that are still grinding, but you're way ahead of the game because you dumped $100.
right.
Well, but
right.
then in the game you have classes and stuff, right? When you're playing online or whatever, you have classes.
Yeah,
or
but
that
like
still
there's
plays into
certain
that.
cars that like perform better because
Yeah.
they didn't. So like there's these races where there's like I think it's GT2 or GT3 class races, where you have a car and you have like car restrictions. So there's a performance point built into each one of the cars, right? And it can't exceed like say 650. And so that's for like gasoline powered cars. There's this bug in the game where it doesn't count hybrid cars. So everyone started buying up these Peugeot cars, which were hybrid engines. And so they were like totally winning all the leaderboards because they could afford it, or they won it through like a spin or something, like a wheel spin or something. And so like they just kept mobbing all these other lower performance cars, and that's kind of like why a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm going to spend like $20 to afford this one exotic hybrid car, the supercar, in order to win all these races. So yeah, technically that's pay to win.
Yeah,
but
a lot of games do it. I mean,
you still need to know how to drive. That's the thing.
Don't hit a wall. That's the point.
Dude. And you don't look. You
need to know how to drive.
Look,
and they don't have Mario Kart lane assist. Carlos,
and I'll give you.
No, they don't.
Which you use, Dalen. You're the master at Mario Kart. Yeah, you're putting the lane assist on for some reason. But yeah, no, I mean that's you still do need to learn how to drive. I know I would get into like the last Forza that came out. I would get into like the fastest cars, and like I can't drive this very well. And so the best
we are going
get,
too fast, and I am constantly off the road.
So I'm glad we got I believe we got your what you've been playing out of the way, Dale, as far as Gran Turismo. But you're still into it, right? You're still there's like you're saying there's these qualms about the gameplay, but you're still kind of into it.
Like because right now like I really want to play a sim racer, and it Gran Turismo hits that like kind of like chill gameplay where I'm just like I could zone out and not really think about anything too much, and just like go through these tracks I've gone through like thousands and thousands of times in other games.
I'm gonna hit these.
Yeah, like it's muscle memory. Yeah. So it's just like, to me it's just like, oh, this feels really great. It's like you playing Shenmue. Like you love it. You just go through it and it's just smooth. You know.
Yeah, it's not smooth. No, Shenmue's not smooth at all. It's very incorrect.
What?
It's a game that's very not smooth. Okay, I see you. But Shenmue's not smooth at all, like at all. But I did play through it. I'm trying to think what are Zen games. You know what it is? Like a Planet Puzzle League or something like that. That's a very like Zen type game. You just kind of get into the gameplay of it. But Gran Turismo 7, they're doing some wrong things, but I'm sure it looks beautiful. I don't know if you might have retweeted this, Dale, but there was like someone that was saying like, don't look at the sunset, and they're driving off looking at the sunset. So that game looks incredible. And I do appreciate, I think he also tweeted about how to you it's like the racing games is kind of like you're cutting time, right? You're like, to you that's the reward of cutting time and like making the turns, I believe, like hitting the apex.
Why I enjoy sim racing.
Yeah,
because a lot of people don't get into sim racing. Like a lot more people play a lot like the arcade style or like kart style racings. And
like Dalen
racing
with the lane assist.
It's different.
Like Dalen
hey
with the
man,
lane assist.
leave my Daytona alone. Leave my Cruising USA out of this. I don't want to hear.
Now, Dalen, so I was kind of hoping that Luis was going to join us for this next topic that we have on here, but he's not here, so we're going to do the best. I hope he listens and he's like, these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But they did announce a new Witcher, and the interesting thing about the new Witcher is that it's basically CD Projekt Red saying like, oh, don't worry about Cyberpunk, right? It's like, well, look, we're working on a new Witcher. And the interesting thing about it is that it's not going to be a console exclusive, and they're saying, quote, this is a new saga for the franchise. But the other thing is they're no longer using their proprietary engine, which I believe is the Red Engine or something like that. They're actually going to the Unreal Engine. So that's kind of like, I don't know if that's like a way to like, look, don't worry about what happened with Cyberpunk. We're doing a whole different thing. But I don't know if that was necessarily the problem that they were having with that game. And the new BioShock is also switching. So a couple of these games, future games, are like going from, doing their own proprietary engine to like the Unreal Engine. I don't know if that's your thoughts on that, Dalen, or you're just excited about a new Witcher.
Well, I am kind of excited about a new Witcher, but it's more when you talk about them saying, oh, don't worry about our old engine, we're just gonna do our thing. It's more like it wasn't just Cyberpunk though. It was also The Witcher. I mean, they got hacked, their things got stolen, It was
that's
both
true.
Cyberpunk
Yeah.
and The Witcher,
Yeah.
and then it went up for sale. And people seem to have forgotten that happened.
No, we did talk about that. We did talk about that for a
We
couple
did talk
episodes.
about it,
Yeah,
but people seem to have forgotten that this happened.
Yeah.
So their engine kind of got,
Yeah.
unsafe. So why not jump to an engine that they know is currently safe? They probably
That's
had
true.
to purchase
That's
they
true,
probably
yeah.
had to purchase the ability to be able to use their engine. That way they could get a game out without worrying about somebody stealing it for the time being. And maybe they'll work on another engine in the meantime.
And holding the code ransom. Remember they were like
exactly.
holding it
That's what I'm
ransom
talking
or whatever.
about.
So yeah, I think that's
so much drama.
Yeah,
you might have forgot, but I did not.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing you bring that up, then. But it's true, right? Like they're gonna get documentation now. They're gonna have like a new engine where it's like, okay, look, this is we don't gotta worry about someone holding our own shit hostage against us,
or at least not for now.
Yeah, at least not for now. Well, it's Unreal, dude. I mean, we would have heard something about the Unreal Engine by now.
Well, I'm just talking about CD Projekt Red going back and trying to make new code for their own engine. Maybe right now they might have this new saga of The Witcher coming out through the Unreal Engine, but later on they may actually create another Witcher or another Cyberpunk on another version of their own engine.
We'll see. I don't know if it's that big of a deal. They're saying that it's not going to be console exclusive, but the originals, were they console exclusive? I think they were kind of on...
No, they were on PC.
Yeah, PC, but like saying PlayStation versus Xbox. I'm trying to think.
Oh, okay.
I think it was first on Xbox, right? Xbox 360, and then eventually they came to PlayStation. So I mean,
yeah, because Witcher 2 did not come to PlayStation.
Yeah, I think I have Witcher 2 somewhere, and Witcher 3.
Eventually, maybe.
Witcher 2, I have it probably still in the plastic, and I tried Witcher 3 for like an hour, and I was like, I don't know.
You don't like RPGs.
High fantasy. No, not RPGs. High fantasy settings. I'm surprised I get into Elden Ring.
But the last thing I'll say about it then is that stating that it being a new franchise, Witchers 1, 2, and 3 touch base on pretty much every single book that came out. I don't know what they're going to do to make another Witcher game that's not within the same saga when there's only 8 books.
It's a new saga. That's what they're trying to tell you, Dalen. They're trying to
hey, man, I don't know of any other Witcher books that came out unless I missed them.
No, they don't. That's what they're maybe trying to tell you. We don't care about that. You know, like George R.R. Martin with Game of Thrones. Like, that motherfucker will never finish the books. We are going to make this last season. We are going to. So maybe that's what they're thinking with this one. We'll move on to...
They got to make money somehow.
We'll move on to the next
like
stage.
does the does the Netflix shows follow any of the books too, or not really? Or
yes,
because I've never
it follows it. I don't want to say to a T, but it touches base on what happened previously. It's like just before Witcher 1 rolling into Witcher 1. And then there's the animated movie that came out. It touches base specifically on, I don't know how to say his name, Geralt, on his past.
I believe you, Dalen. I believe you. So you're pretty high
because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's for sure.
So you're a Geralt statue back there. He knows.
Yeah, there's somewhere there. That's right. Yeah, no, man. We'll see. I'll give it a shot. Then. But I know you're hyped for it, so that they at least announced it, right? They're saying like it's coming out, and we don't want our shit to be ransomed anymore, so we're going with Unreal.
I don't want it to be ransomed, and I don't want it to come out unfinished.
They've been through the ringer, dude. CD Projekt Red has been through the ringer for the last couple. Some of it their own fault. They
kind of did it to themselves. Yeah.
The ransoming, I don't know if that's necessarily themselves, but definitely the look, this game is great, isn't it? We've never shown it on PS4 and we never will, but it's gonna be fine. So we're gonna move on to the big news to me segment. Dale, what is the biggest news to you for the last week, man?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I haven't been able to pay attention to video games and play any video games. But I did see this one viral video going around about this one Tesla car that went off of like a hill in LA somewhere, and it just flew through the air. It like went max speed, flew through the air, crashed into a tree and down the street. And people were going like nuts.
I'm gonna click on this thing real quick. So this is Tesla goes airborne on Los Angeles street. Yeah. Yeah, this thing is wilding out. Yeah, so you guys look
Hey,
it up
man,
on
you
YouTube.
didn't know that Tesla cars can fly now? They
A
do
lot of
everything.
no, a lot of
Bro.
cars, a lot of cars can fly, dude. It says police search for driver of flying Tesla.
They're flying. I said
Uh,
it. Did I not say it?
So
There were
yeah.
so many people there, like video, like they have video of it from outside the car and inside the car, and there was like a cat inside the car. It's like nuts. Like it's a total internet
It's
like
reasonable.
bomb right
Hey,
now for
were
it.
they running their PS5 on their Tesla? Because I know they could do that.
Good. I don't know if they're at playing on the screen. Like what is
Yeah.
it? Can you play Frogger or something on
So
it?
if you guys are interested, Tesla goes airborne on Los Angeles street. That's what's going down. This is going on. Dalen, what about you, man? What's your big story for the past week?
It's actually been a long time coming, but then it officially happened. Sega's iconic Tokyo arcades are now officially no more, or at least in name for the most part. The arcade has actually been in Tokyo, right in the Akihabara. I want to say Akihabara. I don't think that's the right word I'm saying,
It's German.
but
You
it-
got it. I think
it's
you got
Japanese.
it.
It is Akihabara.
It's Akihabara.
It's been in the Akihabara Strip since the 1960s. But then back in 2020, because of all, or at least they quote because of COVID, a company called Genda purchased 85% of Sega shares or Sega Entertainment shares. But then just last Friday, they actually changed the name. They actually sold off the rest of their shares last week. So now Sega Entertainment is now no more. And now it's Genda Gigo or Geigo. I don't even know how to pronounce that. But the whole logo looks stupid. If you look up the logo for Geigo or Gigo or whatever the hell it is, it looks stupid. I don't like the way that it looks. And it honestly didn't make a lot of sense to me the way they decided to make their logo.
Well,
they
it's
should have
really
went with Genda.
well.
It looked better.
If people don't know, it's kind of like the iconic like red Sega sign, right? That's up in Akihabara, and it's like instead of Sega, it now says Gigo or Geigo, Gigo.
Hey, it's not just Akihabara though. They did it
to all of
nationwide.
them.
But
I
the
think
first one was the one in Akihabara.
Yeah, and I think it's like 2000 of. You know what's funny? If you guys, I saw some images. Maybe I'll put it on the podcast post. But I saw the Sega sign that they put off to the side. I don't know if you guys saw those pictures. They put down the Sega sign on the side, along with in the front there was a bunch of delineators cut in front of the Sega sign. So that was kind of interesting. I was gonna retweet that, but I was like, yeah, I'll leave Deo alone. I'll leave him alone.
I should have never told you about that word.
But,
hey man, it's too late.
But you know
let
what?
the cat out of the bag. We're gonna ride this soapbox until
just to be clear, right? Like the whole Sega thing, really, what it is, it's mainly the arcade division of Sega, right? They still kind of retain their video game that branding or whatever it is, but this is specifically for the arcades, which apparently they've been kind of in a downtrend. I don't know if we read the same article, Dalen, but there used to be like in the 80s, there used to be like 20,000 arcades, and they're down to like 2,000 or something like that, or like 4,000.
Hey
like
man, people don't go out like they used to go to the arcades. I mean, when I was a kid back in the 90s and over in the 2000s, I would find any arcade
nearby. You were no longer a
and just
kid
go
in
play.
the 2000s, Dalen. You were no longer.
Say what you want, but
yeah.
2003, I still felt like a kid going.
You
to
might
an
have
arcade.
felt like
I
a
could
kid.
just go. I could just go walk to an arcade by myself. That was the only
Dalen,
difference.
you might have.
But
felt
I was still
like a
15
kid.
in 2001.
You
man.
might have felt like a kid, but you were definitely not a kid. All right, you were.
I was
at
still
that point,
15
you were
in
an adult.
2001. That's still a kid. That's
You
a
said
teen,
2003.
which
You
is
said
basically a
2003.
kid.
That's okay.
2003, I'm
counts.
17. It's still before I graduated.
Well, look, the arcades, dude, they were a great thing for a while until consoles basically said, look at us, we're amazing. Just do the definition of free to play to Dalen is you pay $60 and then you play for free. So the game started to look better. You know, the game started to be longer. You could sit on your couch and just enjoy them that way. It was the unfortunate fate of the arcades, right? So, you know, it's been a long time.
Hey, man, now arcades are making money again when they pop up.
Yeah.
Certain ones.
Some of them, but it's not just.
It depends on where you put it. Just don't put it somewhere stupid. That's
They
it.
had his heyday, man. They had his heyday. Deo, any thoughts on this, man? I wish I would have gone. I guess we should have.
I'm sad
seen it.
because like I really.
I'm sad.
I would have gone. tell us that because so in 2020 my wife and I were planning to go to Japan and have this huge Japan trip, and I was like, I had all these sites laid out, like video game sites, like the Sega arcades. I was going to go over to like a hard off and a hard on to go buy like a huge amount of used Japanese games and bring them back over stateside. Never happened.
Super
because of the
Potato
whole
as
COVID
well.
thing.
You have to hit up Super Potato.
Yeah,
also
Super
the
Potato,
classic.
all of those things,
Yeah.
man. So but now I'm sad. There was some life because like that Gigo company or whatever, when they invested
Gigo,
and bought the
Geigo.
arcades, yeah, whatever it is. Like I was like super excited. I was like, oh, they're gonna keep them alive, and then they had to rebrand it. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, that's just
They're like, we're gonna keep them
I kinda
alive,
understand.
but by us taking over the name. That's how we're gonna keep them alive.
Right.
So yeah, that's it's a sign of the times, but it's long overdue, dude. I mean, we're in 2022. I know. I'm sorry to say, it makes me a little sad to see the Sega sign delineated somewhere, but. It's a sign of the times, and now we're dealing with that.
Is that a
next
noun
thing,
at this point? Is delineated?
Right. For our quote unquote quick takes, because it's in quotes that they're quick.
Now, we'll make it quick. Make it quick.
So the first thing we have up on here is we finally got a look at Hogwarts Legacy. We got a 15-minute state of play from PlayStation, and it's dropping holiday 2022. I know, Dale, you're kind of are you a Harry Potter fan? You kind of were looking forward to this, a Hogwarts Legacy?
Now I am. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I never read. I've never read any of the
bully
books.
with broomsticks.
Yeah, but like ever since when I was dating my wife and everything back in the day, like I never read any of the books, but she got me really into the series, and then so I watched all the movies. I've been to like Harry Potter Land over in Florida and everything, and now I'm like hyped, and I'm glad they finally revealed this game because now I'm getting super hyped about it too.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's got battles. It's kind of open
It's
world.
got battles.
It's an open
It's got
world.
the wizard battles.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at these wizard battles right now.
Love it.
And they're deflecting out here. Interesting.
You could hop on your broomstick and go around like the open world and everything. And
okay.
I don't know what else.
Is it
multiplayer
multiplayer or just single player? It's single player open world, or you're supposed to be able to co-op?
I have no idea actually.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I hope we could do. I don't think it's like an MMO or anything like that. I just know it's an RPG.
Everybody wants to know the one singular question when it comes to any game dealing with Harry Potter. What's Quidditch going to be like? Are they going to fix the rules? Because that game still makes no sense. Why play the rest of the game if you're just going to catch the snitch at the end? I don't get it. Why are we doing this?
No, Dylan. You know exactly what it is.
Did you ever play the Quidditch game for like the GameCube or something? Did you guys ever play that?
And it was also stupid to see people playing Quidditch in real life right after that came out.
Dalen, you know what it's like, dude. You know what it's like. It's called the blue shell, dude. It's called the blue shell. When you're working all the tracks, you're trying to make it through, and just because you were in first place the whole time, here you go, blue shell. You know what it is. You know how it is. But Hogwarts Legacy, that's out this year, so it looks like it's I've not really seen any of the Harry Potter movies, so I don't know. Maybe that will actually get me to watch them or something. Like, you know what?
Hey, man,
let me watch all
Quidditch
these movies to play Harry Potter.
Quidditch looks like a nasty game. I'm going to tell you that right now. It looks like people could get murdered playing Quidditch. I've seen people fly up those brooms, hit poles, fly like, 200 feet from the air. Sure. They had no safety net for that game.
So that's Hogwarts Legacy that drops later this year, and Dale's pretty hyped about it. Maybe Dalen also, possibly. This one's for you, Dalen. So Ubisoft is working on a new Prince of Persia game, and apparently it's inspired by the Ori 2D series. And this is according to Video Game Chronicle. I will say this, Dalen, that I think we've talked about it on the podcast, and you're like, yeah, that Prince of Persia remaster is gonna be nice. It's coming out. It's like it has not come out yet. They have not.
But they did mention it. All right, they actually did mention the fact that the remaster is probably going to come out March 2023. But the fact is, it got pushed back hard.
Originally, I think it was supposed to come out last year, wasn't it? I think
it was supposed to come out February 2020.
Wow, yeah. So there's been a great push. But what do you think about this? I think this is a little more interesting, to be honest. A 2D Prince of Persia game, Ori-ish inspired. I think I'd be more down for this.
I think it's they quoted it as 2.5D in this case.
Mm.
And if you weren't aware, Carlos, or if you've forgotten, Prince of Persia was originally
I
a
knew that. Don't be
side-scrolling game.
questioning, Dalen.
I said
Don't
if
be
you forgot.
questioning.
I said if you forgot. I'm not questioning the fact that you knew it existed.
I feel attacked. Okay, of course I knew. It was a
Carlos,
TV
we know you don't be paying attention, but I still remember playing that semi-racial Prince of Persia game with this guy with his Arabian turban
Okay,
walking through the prison.
semi-racial. Okay.
Hey man, they didn't actually come out quote that it was a racist game of any kind.
No, what,
but
Dalen,
it
if
was very
someone's
much
racist, they usually don't come out
the
and say
character
they're
you played
racist.
was super light skinned though, so it's just like, you know,
That's what I'm talking about.
whitewashing.
But there was some
Whitewashing,
serious
man.
tropes thrown into that. It was like worse than Aladdin tropes. It was just
So
Yeah.
you
let,
could tell everything they threw in was just trope after trope
animation-
of the Arabian Nights.
so
the animation was fire, but like, you know.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
it was
right.
smooth.
That's right. That's kind of one of its big like points, right, of the game was like, look at this animation, it's incredible. Even years later, right? But assuming it's not racist, Dalen, you'd be pretty down with the 2.5D, if you will, of Prince of
Yes,
Persia.
I would.
Okay, there you
I
go.
would.
We don't have any. We didn't get any dates or anything like that. They're just like, look, don't worry
No,
about
they're
that.
just like this might be coming out. We might be working on this along with another slew of Ubisoft games that we're not going to actually tell you
Well,
about.
and they
also
pretty much
mentioned
and
Assassin's Creed stuff.
said, look, don't worry about Sands of Time remake. That's never coming out. That's vaporware. But we're gonna talk about this 2D Prince of Persia game that we have. Another game that's a 2D game that I loved, and it was my game of the year, of course, was Metroid Dread. Apparently, that game is the third best-selling game in the franchise, which I kind of like a little bit because it's third best-selling game in the franchise behind Metroid Prime 1 and 3. So to me, I was like, okay, I still have some hope for a little Metroid Prime action. Because as great as this was, and it was so good that it was my game of the year last year, I still want a new Metroid Prime. But Dalen, what are your thoughts on this, man, about how Metroid Prime's been doing?
I was a little surprised that Super Metroid wasn't up on that list at all, because Super Metroid was the only game that I knew where everybody knew that was a Metroid game. Anytime somebody talks about Metroid, that's the one that people bring up. People don't even bring up the first Metroid. They always bring up Super Metroid.
Well, that's when it was like, that game is still pretty great, dude. I just played it in like the last couple weeks. Well, on the run-up.
You played it
the
just
run-up.
before.
Yeah, and the run-up to Metroid Dread. But yeah, it's
Yeah, no, he's right though, because every time like references like Metroidvania, like that's the one they talk about. Like,
Yeah,
Super
they always
Metroid
talk
is
about
what they
Super
really talk
Metroid,
about.
but apparently it didn't sell well enough to be on the top 3 list.
yeah, it's still, you know, I think, you know, Metroid Dread has never sold, like, it's funny to me that like Metroid Dread is the third best selling. It's like, yeah, probably the best selling one sold like 1.5 million or something, like a 1.5 million or something. So Metroid has been, unfortunately, for the longest time, the redheaded stepchild of the like all the Nintendo franchises. It just doesn't sell well, and apparently it sells better here than it does in Japan. So maybe that's, I don't know if that's part of the reason that it's like, because, you know, Zelda and Mario sell well everywhere. It's just incredible games, right? And these are incredible games, and I think I probably even like them more than Mario and Zelda, right? But it is what it is. So it's the third best-selling game. But that's a good point, Dalen. Where is Super Metroid on the best-selling list? The other thing is, Dalen, apparently Bungie is hurting themselves in their own confusion. They are getting like copyright takedowns as well on YouTube for themselves. They actually came out with the quote saying, quote, "We're aware of a series of copyright takedowns on YouTube and we're actively investigating. This includes content on our own Bungie channels. These actions are not being taken at the request of Bungie or our partners. Please stand by for future updates." So part of this was like music that's not in Destiny anymore, but it's like forcing takedowns or something. So it's kind of like even Bungie's getting hit up with this thing. So it's kind of interesting that even a developer, the publisher themselves, would be like get hit up by like a YouTube strike or something like that. But
well, well, I don't know where the drop in the ball was. Somebody dropped the ball hard in this particular case. But if they're saying that it wasn't at their request, it's most likely somebody that just made an error of the range of what they wanted to use to be able to take down these videos.
To hurt themselves in that confusion?
Yeah,
like, that's the range?
Like they like the range was too wide, and they're looking at this range like, well, the range looks right. So why are these videos getting taken down? We need to take a second look. But then again, YouTube by themselves are nasty about copywriting.
Yeah.
They're so nasty about copywriting. So I'm not even surprised that this became an issue, because YouTube they just copyright people for their own content. You got people that like said a sentence in their own content that they didn't take it from anywhere else. It was just their own words, and they get taken down off their own site. And you're just like, wait, why am I getting copyrighted by myself? Or why am I getting copyrighted by Paramount and I didn't even mention their name or nothing that has to do with
I picture Marty O'Donnell is putting stuff up. He's like, "What? Why am I getting struck on? I created Halo. I did the."
Well, that's a different issue.
Yeah.
But
there's a big trouble for that one.
That's another controversy. But I'm sure he can't escape this web of takedowns. I'm sure he's gotten hit up also.
But there's also another thing that they ended up bringing up in the article was the 80-20 thing that they have going on, is that they wanted to make sure that it was like, I think it was 80% use of Bungie material and 20% your own, or the other way around. I'm sorry. It had to be 20% of Bungie's material and 80% of your own, but it's like the percentage is jumping off the scale somewhere. So you could have like 21% of the video be Bungie, and they'd be like, nope, gotta take it down.
Yeah.
But nobody's doing that.
Oh, you mean like
nobody's doing
you
that.
mean maybe there's like a little margin of error or something like that? Where
Yeah, I think it's the percentage thing that they're saying 80-20, but whenever the copyright thing cycles through YouTube, it's like, oh, this is just copyrighted entirely. They threw out the 80-20 and went 100%. Anything that's Bungie, take it off.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's just funny to think that these are big companies, right? And they're getting hit up about things they hit other people up. And like, if you're saying the 80-20 thing, that means they do have a little bit of leniency, right? Bungie's like, look, thank you for promoting the game, right? Like, Nintendo's the 100% that you're talking about. Those guys do not fuck around. I mean, it's so much so that a lot of creators are like, they don't even cover Nintendo, right? It's like, they're just gonna demonetize me immediately. Like, they have to do it for the love, and nobody does it for the love, Dalen. Nobody does it for the love of the content. All right, they're trying to get paid. I'm just fucking.
But you understand we're doing this.
I know,
now, right?
but we're the only ones. We are untarnished. We are unblemished. We are whatever you call it, unsullied.
We're not here for the money.
We're unsullied. I want to be. Hey,
here, I'm gonna throw this at you, Carlos, because you couldn't figure it out. You beat to your own drum. That's what you do.
Okay, Dylan. 50 hours later, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Right? You failed me in that moment in time. But yeah, so we're unsullied by sponsorship, kind of like Ernie says on TNT. But we'll take them. We'll take any and all partnership and sponsorship. The next thing on here, Dalen, we finally get the sequel to Moss. We get Moss Book 2. That's coming out March 31st. The original one came out in February 27, 2018 on PlayStation VR. To me, I actually thought that was like one of the better games for that. It's kind of like a little diorama that you're kind of poking your head in and you're moving around. That was probably one of the best early uses of the technology at the time, but it's really, you probably didn't even really need the VR-ness of it, but it was a little bit more immersive. So I'm glad that, what year are we? 2022? 4 years later.
The year of our Lord 2022.
The year of our Lord 2022. 4 years later, because the original, if you we played it, right, Dalen? I believe you played it. The original was like
I didn't just play it.
Yeah.
Moss is the reason, or at least one of the two reasons, that I even got a PSVR. If it wasn't for that and Super Hot VR, I would not have a VR.
And it was like a 3 hour long game. Not to say that. So this next one better be the most amazing 3 hours we ever played, man. It's kind of based on all this time they've taken on it.
If Rescue Bot has anything to say about it, or at least if it's any type of a goalpost, then I think we'll be okay.
Can you help us out, Dale? What's the Rescue Bot Dalen is referring to? He's talking about Astrobot.
Yeah. Astrobot, whatever. It's a Rescue Bot. I actually didn't play the game, but I heard how great it was. So,
Dalen, it's free. You didn't play the free.
I know. I have it.
Yeah.
I just haven't played it. I was too busy playing Pistol Whip. So.
Oh, you're talking about PlayStation VR. But you did play the PlayStation 5 version though, right? Like the one that came for free with your console that you should have played, and it's amazing.
No, I was too busy playing Miles Morales at that point. The problem with those games coming out is I'm always playing another game in the meantime, and then I forget about it.
No.
So,
Can you second me on this, Dale? He needs to go
no,
back
don't second
to
him. Don't feed
Astrobot,
his. Don't feed his ego.
No, he has to, right? He has to play Astrobot. Did you play?
Hey, he put no on this particular thing.
I put no.
Don't bring
I'm
him
not gonna
into
say anything on
this.
it.
No, this is Moss. No, this is Moss. We're talking about Astrobot.
Well, if it's Astrobot, if you haven't played the PlayStation 5 one, then you got to play that one. The VR one, I can't say anything about because I don't even have PSVR.
I got you.
But...
I got you on the PSVR one, but the definitely, Dalen, go to play the PS5 one, man. It's nice, and it's like 2 hours, and it's like 2 hours.
Astro's Playroom, please.
Yeah.
Please, it's great.
It's only like 2 hours long, dude. It's really fun. It's some nice, precise jumping as well, and it's they have a little meme song in there. The next thing we have on here, we'll bring in Dale for this one, and we'll have him play in this subject. Elden Ring. So we have been talking about Elden Ring selling quite a few copies the last couple of weeks, but now we have a more definitive number. Elden Ring is apparently doing like someone said on Twitter, they're doing Call of Duty numbers. I think that might have been Jason Schreier, actually. We'll try to give him some credit here, but he's like, Elden Ring is selling Call of Duty numbers. They have sold worldwide 12 million copies. 1 million in Japan. So out of those 12 million, 1 million in Japan. And Bandai Namco says it's the start of a, quote, new franchise, end quote. So they're pretty hyped about how much this is selling, man. This thing kind of blew it up. I think they released at the right time. Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, maybe there are other games they released like during the... What have we been calling it, Dalen? The epicenter of the bomb, of the nuclear reactor.
Oh,
the
blast radius.
The blast radius.
Yeah.
They maybe that's what it is. Because now that I'm thinking about it, all these other games like Neo and Sekiro and the Demon Souls games, they kind of drop September, October, right? That's like the blast radius of a Call of Duty or something, right? This one dropped in
Elden Ring. This was a blast radius. You stay away from when this game came out. If you didn't make your game come out before this game came out, stay away from the after effect. Just be like 2 months out. Just push it away.
Yeah, so the fact it was definitely like a blast radius here that they created all onto their own. So Elden Ring.
It happened to Horizon. Like Horizon came out, and then like people loved that game and scored well and sold enough. But like you see like the metrics for like streaming and people talking about it. Like online, it like Elden Ring dominated, man.
Elden Ring is still dominating. It's still dominating.
I can't look at Twitter because I don't want to see any of the spoilers. There's so many.
And I found out that it's like a super co-opable game, so now I really do need to play it.
It's not that. I'll play it with you. I'll try it, but not really, dude. It's not like Dying Light or anything like that. It's like
I didn't think it would be.
It's limited, but you said it's super co-opable, and it's not, dude. But if you grab it, I'm willing to. We'll give it a shot, but it's not like that.
Man, let's finish Dying Light 2 first.
We do. We need to get down with that. But yeah, I mean, it really was, right? Elden Ring was really the blast radius to like Horizon should have been like, fuck. Like, I wonder how like Horizon 2 is like selling, right? Or how much it's sold, because we're talking about weeks later after release, and I'm still seeing, stuff from Elden Ring. How to beat this boss? How do you get to that? How do you get to this? So obviously it has enough traction online, and as far as the influence is concerned, that people are still creating content for it, right? Where it's like, this is how you beat this guy. And yeah, I was going to talk about it a little bit in what you've been playing, but the way I've been playing the game, these little guys actually help me. So I've been clicking around a lot. But before we move on, Deo, do anything else as far as like Elden Ring or that it's been just wildly successful?
I'm impressed that it sold that much, but I honestly don't think it'll keep going. I think it's a pretty short, like it'll be high in the beginning and then it'll drop off really quickly because there's a lot of hardcore fans, and through word of mouth, like they've been waiting for this game to come out. So that could explain why it was like massively successful right now. But I really think Horizon in the end of it will sell like probably 2 or 3 times more than Elden Ring.
I'd be interested. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. That's a good point, because as far as like, I mean, Sony hasn't they have an opportunity to resell that game, right? Like they can kind of promote it on the front page, do whatever they want, but so a lot of times these games kind of sell like they try to keep it family friendly, but they blow their load like right off the bat. Like when it comes out, they sell the most copies they're probably ever gonna sell. So, and I think people were waiting for Elden Ring. They're like, Horizon or Elden Ring. I can wait. I'll grab Elden Ring. But I'm interested. That will be interested to see in the long term maybe Horizon 2 will eventually overtake
Yeah,
or
like
sell as much.
Horizon's probably gonna get like DLC, or they're gonna feature Aloy in like another Fortnite playable thing or something. So
Yeah.
they'll
It's
have
gonna
that
show up in
stuff
Monster
right
Hunter
now.
at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, something crazy. So then that will like create more hype again, so people want to play.
Yeah.
Or some person like Donkey on YouTube will create like a video saying like, "Oh, Horizon, the forgotten game of 2022," supposedly, and that'll get everyone hyped again. So
We'll see. We'll see.
will
I'm
get its
interested.
justice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see, man. Maybe, possibly. I kind of would bet that it doesn't, but I do like your optimism,
Ooh.
and I do like, and I do.
Spicy.
I feel like we could kind of place a little bet, so maybe offline or something. Maybe we could place a little bet. We'll give ourselves a little timeline. In what time will it overtake Elden Ring? And my bet will be, will it ever overtake Elden Ring?
Okay.
But you
take
know,
that
just
action,
keep
right?
it keep it real interesting because. It's possible. It is possible. Dalen, anything else as far as Elden Ring selling so many copies?
Nope.
We do have a couple more things, and Dalen, you love when video game stuff comes to TV. A series, as far as there's gonna be a Tekken anime series by Netflix. I don't think there's too many details of it. I think it was just kind of a throwaway comment. It's like, yeah, we picked up.
No,
Tekken.
there's a trailer.
Oh, okay. So, what are your thoughts, Dalen? Tekken anime coming up.
Well, for the trailer itself, apparently this anime is going to focus on Jin Kazama and his raising. So it's going to be starting like right in between Tekken 3 and 4. And for me, because they still haven't done it right yet, is I was hoping they'd actually start from Tekken 1. I wanted to see the Kazuya story put into animation. But I'm okay with them starting with Jin because apparently that's the most popular story that's in the Tekken series. And the thing about the animation that actually cracked me up is, I know you don't like the dialogue combo, Carlos, but when you punch people in Tekken or kick them, you get that nice little pow effect that looks like really glowy around their fist or whatever, or they're about to charge up and they hit you and it's like a blue color or a gold color. They have that in the animation when they hit people. So that was cracking me. I was like, okay. Let's just make the game, the anime, just outright.
I'm looking at it. I pulled it up. I see the little explosion.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like a little explosion when they make contact. I'm looking at this thing. Okay, interesting. Yeah, maybe I might check it out. You're down though. You're gonna watch it, right?
I'm gonna watch it. There's no question. I'm gonna watch it. Hey, I still gotta finish Cuphead. 15-minute episodes. I'm down to finish that. Castlevania was excellent. They're coming out with Tomb Raider, but next on the list. All right, Tekken. Let's do it. If you didn't know, they made a King of Fighters series, and it blew by really fast. I'm hoping the same thing doesn't happen to Tekken, but that King of Fighters series was actually pretty excellent. But it came and went in like 2 days.
You did bring up the Cuphead, like the animation is out. It's weird. I want to watch it. But I'd never played Cuphead, or I might have played like one level of it, or half a level.
What?
Settle down,
I thought you
Dalen.
did it.
Settle down, okay, Dalen.
You upset me, sir.
That's fine. But so to me, it's like I want to at least play a level or two, and then be like, I'm good. I know what it is. I know, Dale, you were kind of hyped for the.
He said how?
It was amazing.
It's hard though, right? That's the thing. It's hard.
Not really. It's just people complained about it because they weren't used to it. It had been a while since a good game like that had come out. Like before that, it was Mighty Number 9, and we all know how that went.
Challenging.
So... yeah. So the animation is pretty nice, though. Do I need to have played a couple of the levels of the game or anything before I dip into the animation?
It would honestly help.
I did say Deo. But go ahead and you take over.
Whatever. Dale. I'm going to interject. I'm sorry, Deo. Go ahead and answer the question. I know what the answer is going to be.
No.
Okay.
I agree with I agree with Dalen, man. There's like animation in there that's like part of the gameplay. So when you see it, you like nerd out and you geek out. You're like, oh shoot, I know that from the game. Or like when he like rolls up his sleeves and he's like ready to take on things. That's in there.
The only
it's
concern,
good. It's really excellent.
The only concern. See, I want to get those little references, right? I kind of like that. I want to get those references, but the game will take me a little while to beat, though, right? That's the thing.
It will not,
right? Like,
and I could play it with you, and you can get through it pretty quickly.
I'll think about it. I will.
Hey, it helps to have a second player. I can tell you that.
The other thing is, A Plague Tale is going to be made into a TV series, which that's another one I haven't played. I got to get around to that game. But Dalen, what can they do with the Plague Tale TV series that they haven't done in the game or that they didn't do in the game?
leave it alone. That's what they could do.
Oh, okay, Dalen. Okay.
Plague Tale is very theatrical as it is, and it gives its own ambience to the way that the game plays. So when you take that and turn it into a series, you lose the ambience that came with the game. You lose the tension that came with the game. Now you're just watching them try to survive rats, but it's not as good.
Yeah. Is it supposed to be live action or animated? Do we know?
I have no idea. I didn't even know about it until you put it up here, and I was like, I don't even want to see it.
Yeah. So the adaptation is a live action TV show. So
that's just as bad.
I don't know. It might be a little spooky. We'll see. So that's coming out. Dalen says, "Leave it alone." I guess we're gonna find out soon enough when that drops.
First, let's get through. Let's get through Last of Us, and then we'll find out if we need a Plague Tale.
There you go. So the other one, I guess, just for me, real quick. I just think it's funny, like what's going on with Quantic Dream. I know Lise would have had some thoughts on this, but he was dealing with other stuff. Maybe he'll tell us. Maybe he'll regale us. He'll let us know next week. So Quantic Dream says development at the studio is progressing, quote unquote, serenely after reports of recruitment struggles. So that's one of the things that's been going on with those guys over there. That it's like they've been having recruitment struggles because apparently it's kind of a shitstorm over there. It hasn't been. They're working on 3 different games apparently. If you guys don't know, the main creator has kind of been hit with, I don't know if it's like sexual harassment stuff and all this kind of wacky stuff at Quantic Dream. They haven't been able to figure out. So I like their choice of words in saying that we are working through these things serenely. Another
are they up in the air like Blizzard? Is that what's happening?
Well, Blizzard just makes too much money, man. And Quantic Dream, I guess.
But they were making like 7 games at once, and then the whole sexual harassment thing happened, and then suddenly all these games were in limbo, and they even took away like the DLC for a while. They were like, yeah, we're doing it, but we're not going to put it out. We're just going to have it sit over here on a bench for a little while.
Quantic Dream's been having some issues. I do like the fact that like things are moving along serenely on like 3 different games apparently. So the other thing was that whatever game they're working on, and I think it was on IGN, they said that because people were like, oh, this game was delayed, and they were like, and their quote was, a game without a release date can't have been delayed. So they're kind of like, we didn't delay anything. We didn't even say anything.
You need that thinker meme right there. That.
Yeah. I didn't even say anything. All right, Dale, go ahead. Dale's doing a thing. Sorry. I think we're good though, Dale. I think, or you're kind of lagging on your end. I think you're good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you hopped out and jumped back in. So that's just for me. Quantic Dream saga is never ending, and at some point they will release a game, and I'll be okay with that. I'll just have to accept that, whatever they make. We're gonna move on to a little bit of what you've been playing. Dale, you kind of, I think, already talked about what you've been playing, but is there anything else kind of, or anything you might have forgotten on a Gran Turismo front, I suppose, that you're like, you know what, I did want to mention this?
No, it's just been Gran Turismo.
He's been too busy installing games and not playing them.
Right. Yeah, like I'll install Gran Turismo and like it'll update and take like 30 minutes. I'm like, ugh, I just wanted to play, but now my time is gone. Or like Tunic. I did install Tunic, but I haven't played it yet.
I also installed Tunic. We were all ready for it.
So I think maybe if you guys don't mind, maybe I could start off with that. I did play Tunic. Tunic is kind of hard, man. I don't know if you guys are aware, but it's kind of a hard game. It looks pretty as hell. I do like the fact that it has no instructions. You're moving around the world with a little fox-like character, and I believe you're trying to kind of rescue your mom or some kind of like, female fox figure or something, but you're trying to rescue somebody, and of course you just fall short, right? Because you have to level up, you have to make it around the world. You start off with no weapons. Eventually you open up a chest, a la Legend of Zelda, and you open a chest and you get a stick. So you start off with a stick, and right now I'm working towards getting a sword and a shield, because you can already tell. But it's funny that there's no instructions. There's even some of the words aren't even words. They're like hieroglyphs or something like that. And it says Hero Town or Hero Sword, go in this direction, and that's it. All the other stuff is gibberish. And even when you pick certain things up, it doesn't even say like, do you want this or not? It says gibberish and then okay and not okay. I'm like, I guess okay. I guess I don't know what this says. So far it's pretty cool. I like the design of it. It seems like a pretty smooth game, pretty as hell. And it's also, it has sort of a Elden Ring-ish type of thing going on too, because if you die somewhere and you picked up a bunch of like coins or whatever the currency is in the game, you have to actually,
because they don't tell you.
They don't tell you anything. You do have to
tell you.
You have to get back to your body to get those coins or that I'm assuming in the future it'll be like XP or once I'm further into the game. And other than that, you're really like it's funny that some of these chess pieces or some of these chests that you're opening are pieces to the instruction manual. Like you're literally picking up page 2 of 3 or page 2 of 4, and it says, oh, if you roll and hold it down, you run. Or if you do this is what this means. This is your stamina. And it's like, okay, that's reasonable. Let's all these chest pieces are for me to eventually get the manual. But I am liking it so far. I did notice someone online saying that it's like, because I know it goes back to Elden Ring, that it doesn't have like a quest log. This thing doesn't have a quest log either. It doesn't have like, you better keep track of what you're doing. It's, you better keep track of like, I was going south and then up and then through here.
Hey man, just keep going forward.
Because the game, no, but it's like labyrinthine. What's the word, Dalen? Labyrinth?
Labyrinth?
Labyrinthine. The way
just labyrinth.
No, but I like the other word. That's what I was trying to say. So it's kind of a labyrinth type of setup, so you do have to keep track of where you're going. Other than that, I did play a little more Elden Ring.
Labyrinthine.
There you go. Labyrinthine. Thin. Other than that, Tunic, I'm going to keep playing on that. It seems a little hard, though. I already got to a section where I'm like, I need to get a sword soon or a shield soon because they're taking me down. But yeah, Tunic is good. Elden Ring, I did finally beat a boss, so that was pretty I was pretty proud of myself. I did have to look online and be like, okay, what can I do? Because there's this boss that's kicking my ass.
See, now you're just weak just mentioning that. You shouldn't have told nobody that. You should have kept that little piece of information yourself.
Why? I don't understand. I'm going to play it like that. Otherwise, I will never play it.
I'm going to play it like that.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I try. So the thing is, I'm trying to build enough like knowledge to eventually be like, okay, now I found my own strategy, my own like ways to cheese these bosses or whatever. But I'm liking it. I'm okay with my ninja setup or my samurai setup. He's pretty quick. He's nimble enough to kind of dodge here and there. But I did beat one boss, so I'm gonna take it easy and see how many more bosses I can beat before I eventually get to the end game here. But other than that, that's what I've been playing. Dalen, what about you, man? What you been getting down with?
Well, the both of us got down with the Destiny 2 raid, the Vow of the Disciple. We've actually been trying to beat that for the past couple of weeks, but this last week we actually made some progress because there's apparently 4 encounters. But man, communication is key. You definitely need to have a mic, and there's like 20 symbols or 26 symbols or something like that. You gotta know. You got to know these symbols. I mean, we ended up pulling up the picture for the symbols, but people be calling out the wrong things a lot. But some of these symbols look too much alike. What was it? Worship and Guardian,
and drink. Worship and drink are the ones that are like, okay, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to these things.
It's like we had no idea. We actually we were playing. I can't remember what night we were playing. I think it was like Wednesday night or something like that. But we had a crew with us, and one guy was teaching us how to do part of it. And man, he got so upset he just fell quiet.
He was like, "You guys aren't killing the ads." And for people that don't know, the ads are basically like the smaller enemies that kind of they kind of crowd around, right? They're just annoying. And he's like, "All right, I'm doing ad control now because you guys don't know what you're doing over there." So it's Destiny. It's part of the deal. It's part of the deal.
And he just randomly said he didn't tell nobody that he wasn't picking up the relic no more, which is kind of like a shield that stops people from being blind. He didn't tell nobody he was getting off of relic. So I was just like, all right, fine, I'll take it. And then I had no idea where I was going with that relic.
We're almost there though. This is our third week on the raid, Dalen. We're almost there.
Hey man, this will be the week that we beat it. This will be the week that.
Well, it's reset tonight or reset Monday since this goes up on Tuesday. But we'll do it. We believe in each other. What else you been getting down with, Dylan?
I've also found because I've had time. I had a chance to go back to Horizon Zero Dawn, and by itself, that game is still beautiful. I need to make my way to Forbidden West, but I do gotta say, guys, I can't say that I slept on this because I tried to play it, but it's definitely a much better experience after not playing all the Batman games and Spider-Man games in the recent past. I had to like give it a year between that type of game before I really could enjoy this. And I don't know what you were talking about with these glint hawks, but as long as you got a rope thing to tie them down, you're good.
Now we're jumping on Dale, huh? Now we're jumping on
Yeah.
Dale. Now we're teaming up.
Hey man, I tried this glint hawk thing, the rope caster. I'll take down a glint hawk, but the Stormbirds, I don't know yet. I haven't tried to mess with those guys yet.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw, but the sign just came down up there.
I saw it.
I was like, what just happened? What just happened? I was like, what's that noise right now?
But aside from that, because I had a couple of friends over, we decided to get down in Castle Crashers. I did not know how fun that game was. I've seen it so many times, and it was definitely like back in the days when Flash was just making a bunch of little games. And I was looking, I was like, this is just a Flash game, and everybody should try to play it. But then it looked like a lot of fun because it was multiplayer. Everybody was just having a blast and still putting these things online.
That game was,
and I finally played it.
Well, that game was like post-Flash, man, because we did have Flash.
No, man, it was mid-Flash era.
It was like post-Flash. I mean, meaning that there was the Flash like stick figure games on PC or whatever, right? And then we got a little bit better because before Castle Crashers, this developer did a Asteroid or something like that, or Alien Hominid or something like that.
Alien
Hominid. So we got Flash, and then we got mid-Flash, and then we got post-Flash, which is Castle Crashers, all right? So Castle Crashers might still look a little flashy, but no, Castle Crashers were good, man. And it was like during the 360 era where they were really pushing the arcade, like, oh, this is the arcade and we're doing nothing but awesome. It might have been even like when they used to do like Summer of Arcade or something like that. It could have been like Castle Crashers and Braid or something like that. One of those summers where they were like, oh, this is actually one of our good games, one of our big titles that you download, because it was a big deal, you know, during 06, 07, 08, where it's like, we're downloading games and we're downloading arcade smaller titles for $10-20 or whatever. Yeah, so it's you know, it's good that you've come around it. There's some wackiness in there. I believe that one of the first levels,
sat and beat the whole game.
I feel like one of the first levels is like a deer farting its way across the screen, right? Or that's one of the ones.
Oh no, that was like the second or third level. The very first level was like fighting a big guy in an arena with a big like spike shield, and then after you kill the guy with the spike shield, there's the princess that you're supposed to save, and then you fight each other. And I was like, wait, what?
It's nice, dude. It was like that's what I'm saying. Dale in a post Flash era, man. This was a good game. It was a good game in the post. Now, how does it hold up? It holds up pretty well.
It still holds up really well. It's been years since the game has come out, and I played a good number of beat 'em ups, but this one is actually pretty solid. It is actually a very solid side scroller beat 'em up. The only problem that I have with it are the hitbox. The hitboxes is nasty. If you're just out of range of hitting them, if you're like a little bit in the foreground or a little bit in the background, and you're trying to swing your sword, you're swinging at nothing for like a minute.
I do remember.
But I'll tell you what's fun is when you hit them and you get them up in the air. I love juggling them across the screen. I don't care what anybody says. That's the funnest part for me. Or you're just sitting there stomping on an enemy for like 2 minutes or something like that. There were a lot of fun aspects.
It's nice, dude, and I don't think they've recaptured that feeling since then. I think after that they did like Battle Block Arena or something like that. I forget what the exact name was, but they haven't recaptured that, man. They need to just Castle Crashers 2, just make a sequel.
No, this was Castle Crashers Remastered. That's what this was, and people are still buying it. But hey, man, I would be down to play Castle Crashers 2 because that was a lot of fun. And then after you beat the game, or while you're beating it, you unlock new characters, and one of them was like a skeleton or an alien dude, and you just be those guys, and each one has their own little special.
So Dale, what are your thoughts on Castle Crashers, man? It seemed like you kind of lit up there a little bit. What is it that you remember?
Yes, memories. Fond memories.
Oh, yeah, no, on 360, it was like, yeah, you're right. That Summer of Play or something, whatever it was called. And I remember like Shadow Complex and Braid and like that game, and we played the hell out of that game all the time. Mainly because like Alien Hominid was so much fun. Like I played that on the GameCube. Yeah. But you're right about the hitbox thing. It's bullshit. Like the new Battletoads game is kind of like that, where like if you're just out of plane, of whatever enemy you're at. It's just you're swinging at nothing, and you can't really move in between the motion or whatever. So it's just like you're just there just doing this all the time.
And sometimes so much is
I
happening on
love
the
Castle
screen you
Crashers.
don't even know it's happening.
Yeah, that did.
Yeah,
That
I have no idea.
That did bring up those memories, Dylan. I do remember. Like you're just right behind the enemy. It's like I guess I'm just stuck in this animation right now. What else, Dylan? Or
All right, but the last game, same night after we beat Castle Crashers, I wanted to do something else aside from playing Here to Slay. We jumped into Windjammers too. Because that one dropped free on the Xbox Game Pass, and it is basically a disc jam but better, and you get specials, and it's kind of like if they took Street Fighter and disc jam and mashed them together. This is what you get. You get a good disc jam game because it's basically you got one character from like each country, and for whatever reason, because I know they were looking for him, you don't have a Mexico there. I don't know why, but they got Belize very much with their American art. And the game is very smooth. And one thing I'm going to let you know right now, Carlos, if you're going to play Windjammers, there is a jump button. Don't forget that there's a jump button because for the longest time, we didn't even know we could jump. And then at some point, I tried a different button, and I jumped up and I grabbed this disc and I just chucked it down at the other side. Yeah. So the game is beautiful, and the animation is very smooth. And we lost Dale.
Dale, we'll come back for you.
Steps.
I don't know if he comes back. Hopefully he does. There he is. There
he is. You okay, Dale?
Hope you're all right over there, Dale. We hope they didn't take you. I am seeing you little squares over here. But we did play Windjammers, Dylan. We played the Windjammers 1, I believe.
No, me and you didn't play Windjammers.
I know I played it, and I remember because I always push you guys. I pushed to get Windjammers 2. It took you months later after I said let's play Windjammers. But that's fine.
I tried to play it, and you decided let's play that new weird tennis championship game that came out for free, and that was a trash game.
It was trashy. It was trashy, but we were definitely playing it out there.
It was a bad game.
Yeah. It was not great. It was not great, but it was free.
Hey, man, I'm down to play some Windjammers online tonight. I don't care.
There you go. So that's what you've been playing. We'll end it on this one. It's official. Jumanji is being turned into a theme park ride. Apparently, along with that is wherever they put this theme park ride, it's a dark ride. They're putting in attractions and theme park lands and theme hotels. Whatever. I was trying to figure out, man. It's kind of funky how they're kind of promoting this thing. But apparently, so it's going to be, at the very least, it's going to be a ride that it will transport guests to the fantastic world of Jumanji, where an exhilarating adventure awaits them on a journey full of pitfalls, surprises, and dangers through the wild jungle. That's like their press release, and the first one is going to drop at Merlin's Gardaland Resort in Italy on April, I guess, next month. So, Dale, are you hyped about this? Do you care about a Jumanji ride? Is there something? Is this what we've been asking for?
This is the first time I've heard of it, so the gears are turning on my mind of how they could possibly do this. Is there going to be like one of those old school hunters that's going to like hunt the like
to
the
make
group
it real
that you're
dangerous,
with
to
or
make
something?
it real dangerous,
yeah, right, or something, or I don't know. It'd be pretty fun, I'd say. I don't know. Yeah. It's really hard to translate that Jumanji or which Jumanji are we talking about? Are this straight up board game, like the Robin Williams movie, or like the recent like the Rock movies? Which ones? They're
gonna use the Rock movies.
I like the new ones, man. I know we were in the group chat that I'm in. They're like the Jumanji OG one was better. I'm like, I don't know. The new ones were pretty good. You guys have those rose tinted glasses for sure. As far as
no. Here's the thing: is the graphics for the original Jumanji movie obviously not that great, simply because it was like late 90s. It was like right after Hook or whatever. But they tried their best with what they had. And obviously the rhinos and elephants look very plasticky, and those monkeys looked like they came straight out of the barrel from that Barrel of Monkeys game. But the concept was definitely there. You had those poison flowers that were killing people, those weird bees that were coming out of nowhere. But with the new movie with The Rock, even though the graphics are there and they have this like awesome story thing going on, they didn't have the imagination that the first one had. And that's what I would love to see in a Jumanji ride, making up plants that nobody's ever heard of, animals that are so dangerous nobody's ever seen them. Let's mix a saber-toothed tiger with a velociraptor and see what it looks like. But I want to see the crazy things that came out of Jumanji.
Well, part of it, I think, is the fact that the original was the original, right? It was the original, and now you have kind of a facsimile of that original one. So the imagination, they try to make it maybe a little more grounded, even though I do like the aspect of like the guy is the girl and the girl is the guy type of thing. So that was kind of interesting because they really tied it more into a video game. That's really what they did, right? They went from this is based on like we're playing a board game. Now we're playing a video game and you're actually transporting into a
I guess that's where the biggest difference comes in, is that they turned it into a video game. But the board game one was just, that one had the imagination that I liked. Because Robin Williams got sucked into whatever world he got sucked into and came back a completely different man and knew all the stuff that was coming out of that board game.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, and it's also Robin Williams, man. I mean, you can't compare anybody else. But, that's it. Yeah. So we have some rides to look forward to, I suppose. The Jumanji ride. I like how it's like really not fully like, wait, is it a theme park? Is it a theme park ride? Because they're talking about attractions and lands and hotels. So they're definitely like, they're flying by the seat of their pants. They're flying by the seat of their pants for sure on whatever they're trying to do with this Jumanji thing. But we'll see what comes out of it. That's been a show, I would say. Salient Points number 61. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carlos Macias, the Master of Ceremonies here. Dale and Kirkwood from Up in the Mountains. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Flying Teslas.
Hey, look that up. Flying Tesla through LA. It's definitely it's gonna be a wacky time. It's gonna be a wacky time. Dale, thank you for joining us. I unfortunately we've been seeing you in little loading blocks for like the last minute or so. I apologize. But we'll figure something out, I suppose. But thanks for joining us, Dale, and we'll see you guys next time.